New rider day and new bike day. Riders, welcome to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bike. And welcome Mike to the channel.
Yeah, thanks,
mate.
Sam.
Thank you for your time.
Cheers.
And what are we doing today?
Getting a new bike, yeah.
Brand
Excited.
new e-bike day for this legend here.
Absolutely.
And this is some really organic content. Like, we've been planning this since Boxing Day. I met Mike on Boxing Day. He's a friend of a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And we were out riding in Kangarilla. He rocked up with just a helmet.
Yep.
And I felt a little bit sorry for him. So I lent him my dream build for a couple of loops, and I could see it on his face, on his eyes, his smile. He was completely hooked.
Super pumped.
Straight up.
Yep.
And we started talking about the ins and outs of buying that first electric mountain bike, which you have been looking at for
And I didn't know much about it. For
Like-
5 years, I've been thinking about getting off the dirt bike and onto a e-bike. So.
Yeah, ex-moto dude. So today we're gonna do the ins and outs. We're gonna teach him to get that, like, that first e-bike. And we've got a little surprise for you, because you're probably gonna drop a little bit of cash today.
Yeah.
So we've got a little show bag.
Oh, wow.
Check out all this loot here.
Epic show bag, man. That's ridiculous.
So for the Australians, for the people that aren't Australian, that are watching the channel, in Australia, we would always get show bags as kids.
Yep.
At the Royal Show. I think you do it in Britain as well. I'm not sure about America, but this is a big show bag.
This is a huge show
and a
bag.
massive shout out from our sponsors, Schwalbe, Insta360 and Quadlock. So we're gonna start with them.
Whoa.
So you gotta have a good set of rubber on your new electric mountain bike. So this is a Magic Mary, front and back. These are awesome. These are my personal setup. Actually, this is from my personal stash.
Nice. Thanks, Sam.
And no one's gonna believe your e-bike riding without a camera. So you got the new Insta360 X3. This camera is an absolute beast. And I know you're a family man, so we've got Quadlock. So you can put that location finder, you can set your phone
Absolutely.
up right next to you. You know, we're not gonna have any accidents, but you can stay safe out in the trails. I love my Quadlocks.
Absolutely.
So legend sponsors, and these are a few other legend companies that have sent out some kit. And these are
wow.
some ride concepts,
Unreal.
TNTs, my personal stash as well. And
Amazing.
you know, I broke,
that.
these are TNTs, these are in your size because we have spoken about this.
Wow.
He did know a little bit about this.
This is awesome, though.
I broke my foot like 8 years ago on a BMX riding the wrong shoes. You need good riding shoes, so we got that. Massive shout out to Lusty in Australia and Ride Concepts.
Protection's paramount.
And
Oh,
we got yourself some jerseys from Gnarly. This is an
Nice.
Adelaide bike riding company.
awesome.
And Anthony, shout out to you, mate. And you know,
Oh.
we do drink a few beers, so there's a
Let's
beer
do
cooler
it.
from Gnarly.
Beautiful.
And lucky last, we're going a full bike ride cleaning kit from Muck Off. Like, I'm not sure we can see, but that is fully
the
stacked with all the grease, all the cleaning stuff that you need to keep your bike going.
Thanks,
And
Sam,
this
on the
beautiful
team.
plastic box is yours as well.
Oh,
You
that's-
enjoy that?
That's amazing.
All right, let's
That's
chuck-
my favourite part.
That's a bargain. All right, chuck that all back in.
Beautiful. That's so cool, man. Thanks.
No worries,
That's
man.
amazing.
And thanks to all the legend companies for sending that out. Okay, so I'm super stoked to have given you that gift, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I mean, for me, I just put the word out to the brands, and they love the idea of, you know, starting that new rider out, you know, on this journey, because it is a great community. Now tell me, what do you know, what do you want to know about electric mountain bikes?
I'm right at the beginning, Sam. I'm green as grass and super keen to learn all there is to know and just where to start. So I've had a little look around, but a little bit lost because there's just so much out there.
So I'm going to ask you a few simple questions, which will then help me decide on what e-bike I thought, or e-bikes, and then we're going to go have a look at a couple.
Sick.
So basically we're going to go back to the beginning. What is your experience on two wheels?
Not a lot, a little bit on a hardtail, and mostly my experience is dirt bikes. So
Okay.
yeah, hammer around on those for quite a lot of years, and outside of dirt bikes, snowboarding. So I love a bit of a ride on a snowboard from time to time.
Yep, that's awesome, man, because snowboarding and motocross is definitely a very good crossover sport. What do you want to get out of your time electric mountain bike riding?
Just to get out there, spend a lot more time outdoors, get a bit of fitness happening. I've been riding the dirt bike around on friends' farms and other things, and a bit more limited places to go these days, and I see all these amazing tracks out there in the forests and all that where we take the dogs, and I just can see myself on an e-bike getting around, meeting some of the local crew, the guys I met up with on Boxing Day, my local neighbours who are right into the scene, and you know, everyone's super chill and encouraging, and just to get into that vibe, it's just a great vibe.
And you know, like, just to try and understand how the chip is in the head, how crazy you are. So an ideal mountain bike ride for you, would it be to like go downhill as crazy as possible, big jumps for like a couple of hours, loop, you know, crazy downhills as many times with that e-bike, or like a 2 to 3 hour sort of more chill, bit of up, bit of down, bit of everything in between? What is going to be better for you?
I think the more chill to begin with. I don't want to burn myself out before I've gotten any ability, you know. I want to get into it and slowly progress and go out with guys that are better than you, so that you can gain more skills and get more confidence and not kill yourself on day one.
How much do you want to spend on this bike?
Oh, I've had a bit of a look, and I reckon it's got to be around the 10 range. We'll see where we go, but it comes down to what you guys guide me through the process. I just want to get the right bike.
And one more question, and it might sound like a strange one, but it's going to segue into something, you understand it. Can you do an oil change on your car?
I can, but I choose to go to a mechanic.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I'm starting to understand who you are as a rider. And so we've answered those questions. And riders, if you want to answer basic questions like that and get a personal recommendation, check out sandsbikes.net. Cheeky plug for my online bike finder. It is pretty wicked. I will select that bike for you. Check it out. So basically, the questions I asked were trying to understand you as a rider. So you want to go out riding with your neighbors. You want to have that social aspect. So there are two types of electric mountain bikes. There's a super light, which is basically going to give you less power. They're lighter, and it's going to give you less range, so less like kilometers you can travel. And I don't recommend that for you. That's more for a fitter rider, someone that's looking for a natural riding experience. And all your neighbors and all the guys we ride with are on full powered electric mountain bikes. Yeah. So that's one. We're going full power, 100%. The next thing those questions told me was you would rather be taking a bit of a chill ride for a few hours, doing a bit of everything in between. Yeah. So you're looking at a trail electric mountain bike, and there are generally two types. You've got enduro and trail. And enduro is something with a lot of suspension, so something like 180, 170. It's a bigger bike, it's really burly, and it's really designed for hitting those downhill trails all day long. And then you've got a trail bike, which is more, it can do downhills, it can do everything. It's kind of more that versatile all-round bike. Yeah. So I'm saying we're going for a full-powered trail bike.
Sounds good.
And then you said your budget is around 10,000 euros. I'm pretty sure we can squeeze you in to a mid-tier electric mountain bike.
Nice.
So like there's also generally, and things do change a fair bit, generally have an entry-level model, which is really good for someone just starting out. And I probably would recommend that to you if you didn't have the motorbike experience. Yeah. But I think the fact that you do have the motorbike experience, you're going to enjoy better brakes, and like, so there'll be mid-tier brakes and mid-tier suspension. Nice. It's not the top, but it's not the bottom. Yeah. Then you've got the top of the line, which is top of the line brakes, top of the line suspension, normally carbon frames. They are better, but probably someone of your experience, you won't notice that difference straight away. And the strange question, the oil change, that tells me you're a busy family man, you don't have time to do that maintenance on your e-bike. So we do have two options. We have buying online, which is sort of, you know, better pricing, but you don't have that aftercare support. Yeah. And then you've got buying in a traditional bricks and mortar bike shop. I'm recommending for you to buy in that traditional bike shop for a few reasons. One, you support your local community. Adelaide, we've got great bike shops here, you know, and also that aftercare support. If your bike does go down, they're gonna get you out riding as soon as possible. You know, if it's an online bike shop, if something does go wrong with the motor, with the battery, you're gonna have to box that bike up yourself, speak to the customer service, and get it sent out. So, you know, if you are like, you know, more mechanically minded and you do have time, and budget was a more concern, maybe online would be better. And Mike, that's a segue to say, we're off to Will Ride to pick out your bike. It's a little bit of a drive that way. So, do you have any questions?
No, let's just get on it.
Do you have your credit card?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so a quick drive down to Will Rides in Adelaide, South Australia. I've known Will for about 5 years. He's an ex-downhill World Cup racer, so he knows his stuff. And I'm gonna put it out there and say, this is definitely the best e-bike shop in Adelaide, if not Australia. And we have, I believe we're gonna be welcomed by Matt.
Hello mate, how are you? How you going?
Yeah, really good.
Hello mate, how are you?
Mike.
Nice to meet you, Mike. Nice to meet you.
This is the fresh blood we've got. He's gonna be out kicking it in Kangas. So we're here to buy a bike today. You know this, we've already sort of done a little bit of talking about it.
Yeah, I know.
So show us the floor, and then if it's okay with you, I'm gonna take over and show them a few of my recommendations.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. All right, well, I mean, we've got a lot of your enduro e-bikes on this side of the store. We certainly do have some fun parts over there as well, some nice bars and some suspension stuff behind you there. We've then got our service center just in front, and then tucked away, we've got a suspension tech out the back there as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is your first time seeing this shop, or pretty much any e-bike shop. This is not normal.
Yeah.
This is definitely not normal to see this much stock, and also all these spare parts. You know, in Europe, in Spain where I live, mate, a lot of it's online now, unfortunately. So we were talking about it. Support the bricks and mortar shop. So that's why we're here. So I'm going to show him my selections.
Yeah.
And let's get to it.
But thank you guys for coming in. So
no worries. And thanks for giving us the shop for a little bit.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay, Mike, this is bike one. This is a giant Trance E Plus. This is the one. So this is like a mid-tier, but it's a bit higher than a mid-tier. We are rocking 150 suspension, 140 in the rear, but this has got automatic suspension. So this means, so if you're going out for that 3-hour trail ride, this is going to close down the compression. So more or less it means when you're riding uphill, it's going to lock out that suspension, which makes it really good on like the usage and the economy of the battery. And also sometimes we're getting old, we forget to open up that suspension when we're going downhill. So it just takes that out away. Very new thing. This is like, you know, this is a carbon frame. We've got a 625 watt-hour battery, so nice size, great integration. This has got the Sync Drive Pro motor, which is actually the Yamaha PWX3 that Giant are using their own software. So the whole integration is beautiful. I've been testing this bike for the last 6 months. I absolutely love this bike as a trail bike. It very much sits on the side of a trail bike where some of the other bikes sit a little bit more enduro, but for that 3-hour ride, you're gonna absolutely love this thing. I'm gonna show you all the bikes. You ever think about them? Yeah. And then we're gonna put them all on a line. We're gonna talk about the pros and cons, and we're gonna pick one.
All right, sounds great.
Let's go on to the second bike. Bike number 2, and we've got the Merida E160. It was an absolute classic bike. Like 4 or 5 years ago, this was one of the only e-bikes that was available that was any good. This and the Specialized Canevo. I love this bike. A lot of my friends have this bike in Australia. Really good pricing in Australia. So we're looking at, we've got 160 up front, we've got 150 in the rear. This one is rolling on mullet wheels, so that means you've got 29 at the front and 27.5 at the back. And what that does is, for that trail ride, makes it a little bit slower rolling speed because you've got a smaller rear wheel, but also makes it a bit more flickable, a bit more playful, and it's a bit more moto style. Because on the motorbikes, don't they have smaller, so it's kind of moto. I think the mountain bike industry have stolen that from the moto. This also has a 630 watt-hour battery, and it's powered by the Shimano EP8 motor. Very clean integration, carbon mainframe, aluminium chainstay. Like overall, this is a beautiful bike. And as I said, a lot of my friends have had this and they still have this. And this was actually, not this one, the Series 1, was my first bike, e-bike I tested. And I was like blown away. I was living in Spain. I went out and bought my YT Decoy because it's really hard to get these in Europe, but in Australia, they are like one of the best selling. What do you reckon?
It's a beast, man. Yeah, I love it. Looks awesome. Love the integration. Yeah, super clean, and it's got some beastie components.
Yeah, it's very well spec'd, very well priced. Now, third bike, let's go.
All right. And
the last bike here, this is the Specialized Levo Aluminium Comp. And this is the bike that we were riding at Kangarilla. So this bike has 160 at the front, 150 at the rear, the same as the Merida E160. It has a Bros Mag S motor with 700 Newton meters of power. It also has a 6-way geometry change, and that's not going to mean much to you right now, but what that means is you can turn this bike from kind of a trail bike over to a bit of a trail duro, so it can kind of handle a bit of everything. Does that make sense to you?
It does,
yeah. Okay, and it also, most importantly, it's a mullet setup.
Yeah.
So the same as what I was saying about the Trance is, so the 29er is going to roll faster, but that mullet setup is just going to make it a bit more playful.
Yep.
And also with the changeable geometry, it just makes it a very versatile bike. We've got an aluminium frame here. So the other ones were carbon, so going backwards there a little bit. But the overall package, you know, I absolutely love this bike. All the bikes in the lineup that I've picked are all classic bikes in their own right. Now, let's put them all together and let's pick one. Okay, so we're now into decision-making time. Got the 3 bikes here. First of all, you know, like appearance is important. Which bike out of these 3 do you think resonates with you, like style-wise?
Straight off the bat, I'm probably a bit more of a plainer style sort of a guy. So I'm looking at the 3, all beautiful bikes. I definitely gravitate towards the matte color of this beautiful green here on the Specialized. Love it. And then maybe going on color, probably the Trance. Otherwise, yeah, if we're looking at the frame, style of frame, again, clean, and a bit more full of features. Looking at the Merida there, that looks pretty amazing too.
Yep.
So
yeah, the Merida's
pretty hard to call, to be honest, Sam.
Yep, and riders, pretty much all these bikes are available in different colors, maybe different models and different colors as well. So these are the ones I've picked because of the price point. We have gone a little bit over your 10 grand budget thing because these are all kind of mid to a little bit higher than mid spec. I think for you, this is where you should be because you are ex-moto. I think you are probably going to do a few upgrades yourself. So this will save you a bit of money in the long run. Okay, so now on to price. We've got the Giant Trance at 10,800 Australian dollars, Merida E160 at 11,600 Australian dollars, and the Specialized Levo at 11,900 Aussie dollars. So we've got $1,000 difference between the Trance and the Levo here. Now, is that going to influence your, like, would you be going the cheaper one, or does that not really matter? Like, you're going to get the best one for you?
That doesn't matter. I'll go for the best feel.
Okay.
What I feel is going to be right for me.
Okay, so. Perfect. So basically, I've been talking a lot. Here's my channel. Do you have any questions?
I do, Sam. I'm standing here next to the Levo aluminium bike, and you've got 2 beautiful carbon bikes. Why would you choose carbon over aluminium, or the other way around potentially?
Yep. Very good question, Mike. I've been riding a lot of aluminium, a lot of carbon frames over the last couple of years, and I used to think there wasn't a lot of difference, but there is. Aluminium, for me, is probably my preferred frame material, just because if you do have that off and your frame does fall on top of you and maybe you hit a rock, carbon fiber is really strong, but if it takes a downward force, like a top force or a side force, it can crack. Okay. So where aluminium will just dent. So you could get a little dent in your frame, and on carbon, you might crack it. So there's that, but also, like when you ride it, carbon fiber is sharper. So it doesn't flex. So when you come into a corner and you're really moving, it's a sharper feeling for me. But you have to be a pretty seasoned, experienced rider to feel that difference.
Yep.
So I would say for someone going for a mid-tier, it wouldn't be like, I would not just be going carbon fiber just because it was carbon fiber, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
The difference in weight is quite a lot, actually. So with the Specialized Levo, so I have been using the S-Works, and I have got the base model, which I did the Dream build. And it's actually about a kilo difference in the carbon to the aluminium frame. So it is substantial, but when you're talking about 23, 24, 25 kilos, it's not really that important. I want to go on to a point where, so these are all electric mountain bikes, Specialized, Merida, Giant, all famous brands, all make great bikes. Now, what makes them different is the e-bike motors that we have in all these are different. So we've got the Yamaha PW X3, we've got the Shimano EP8, and we've got the Bros. Right. If we're talking about which is the fastest in a drag race, the Bros Mag S on the Specialized is definitely the fastest. Followed closely by the Yamaha PWX3, which is the sync drive in the Giant Trance. And then the Shimano EP8 is a bit lacking. It is a little bit slower. And then talking about range, I've done really extensive testing on all these systems. So the Bros Mag S on the Specialized and the Yamaha PWX3 on the Giant, the range is going to be pretty similar. So you can go for like, if you have the same size batteries, like this one's got a 700, 625. Let's say all these bikes have a 700 watt hour battery. This is going to get great range. This is going to get pretty much the same, maybe a little bit more because we've got the automatic suspension. And then the Merida with the Shimano EP8, it's just going to be lacking. And from my testing, it's around 15 to 20%. But you know, that's from my testing. And then we'll go on to natural feeling of the motor. Shimano EP8 is a very natural feeling motor. And a lot of the purists out there love this motor because it is an extension of their pedal stroke. It just feels very natural. Then you got the Specialized, the Bros, and that has mission control, their application, and you can go in and tune this bike how you like it. If you want it to be a drag racer, you can make it a drag racer.
Yeah, right.
If you want it to be natural feeling, you can change it. And the Sync Drive Pro is also a very natural feeling motor, but it also really loves to be in low cadence. So really slow, you can just grunt it up the hill. It means you don't have to change a lot of gears. It's an absolute mountain goat. This bike is a killer climber. Okay, so there's a lot of information there. We're going to do a recap. I'm going to say this is an amazing climber. This is a very natural feeling motor, not having a huge amount of power, a little bit less range, and this can be tuned, and this has probably the most power out of the whole system. So what are we thinking, Mike? So we're basically down. I think I've given you all the information. I want to put it out there and say, I'll be proud to ride any of these bikes. They're all sensational e-bikes. So what are you thinking? Let's try and get rid of one.
I'm leaning down the road of the Trance or the Specialized. I'm not a purist rider, so just with the Shimano motor, I think potentially a bit more grunt out of the other two is a reason I'm gonna eliminate the Merida.
And let's be honest, it was the color as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It is
Let's be honest. Okay, so Merida's out.
Yeah.
So we've got the two, the Giant
Down
and the
to two.
Specialized. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of help here. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're both great. I'm going to say, it really comes down to what you want to do and who you are as a rider. Like if you are thinking of doing that 3-hour ride and you want, the automatic suspension, a faster rolling bike, it's going to be, it's going to be a nicer trail bike where the Levo is going to be, both bikes are going to be good at anything you want to ride, but you got to, pick your battles. Which one? It's a bit of a compromise. So this is going to be probably a worse trail bike than this, but this can do everything. So you can take it to a bike park if you want, where I probably wouldn't take this to a bike park.
Yeah, I think Sam, with that information to digest, I reckon would probably lean towards the Specialized. Coming from the dirt bike background, it's probably got the most power, alloy frame, can't complain with that.
Yep.
Let's face it, going to take some stacks and I'm probably less likely to break it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a killer spec, like what you're getting here with the 700 watt hour battery, amazing infrastructure. I think for what you're going to be doing, this is the perfect bike for you, the perfect starting bike.
Yep.
I know it's a little bit more than what you were thinking, but you're not going to have to do that many upgrades, if any. We do have the Schwalbe tyres for you to go on. Congratulations, mate. Good work.
Sweet.
Are you happy? Are you stoked?
Yeah, I'm pumped.
All right, well,
Yeah, let's get on it.
You have to pay now. That's
Yeah.
probably not going to be that exciting. But big shout out to Will Ride and Matt here and all the crew here, absolute legends. And I've got a bit of homework for you. So basically, I've got 2 videos I'm going to send to you. Link up here, riders, if you want to see them. So that's going to be the initial setup. So I'm going to take you from start to finish to set your bike up, and also to understand and set up mission control, because the app is really powerful. So you're going to watch that. And also, riders, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because next week, shakedown ride. We're going to show Mike from head to toe with all his new kit, all the new riding kit to stay safe out in those trails, because it is super important. We're also going to give him a shakedown, like an induction to e-bike riding. It's not going to be anything extreme. She's going to teach correct habits of braking, how everything works, take you for that shakedown ride, and answer any questions you have.
Sweet.
Sound good?
That sounds epic.
All right, mate.
Pumped,
You
man.
ready to go pay now?
Thanks.
And we'll
drop
go.
the coin. Thanks, guys.